The call came in at 3:17 station time, too early for emergencies, too late for routine maintenance, and just suspicious enough to wake every instinct I had honed during my years working alone on the Outer Rim. The message wasn't even a normal request form. It was a direct summons, encrypted under royal protocol. Technician Marcus Hale. Report to the palace. Immediate. I reread it twice, making sure I wasn't hallucinating from lack of sleep. The seal on the order flickered like a holographic crown. Queen Salira of Ares Dominion. Unless someone on the station was pulling a suicide-level prank, this was real. Now, normally, a guy like me, mid-level technician, best known for fixing moisture filters and cargo ship engines, would never be anywhere near a royal palace. But ever since the human frontier had signed its uneasy peace pact with the Ares Dominion, technicians like me occasionally got dragged into weird cross-species repair calls. But a call from the Queen herself? That was new. I grabbed my toolkit, threw on my jacket, and boarded the transorbital shuttle that ferried authorized personnel to Ares. It was strange. They didn't send armed guards, an escort drone, or even a stern message warning me of consequences if I refused. Just the summons. As the shuttle descended toward Ares Prime, the mother world of the radiant, tall, crystalline-skinned Arisian species, I tried not to look like the nervous human I was. The palace shone like a living prism, reflecting constellations off its angled surfaces. A cloud of luminescent birds circled the upper terrace. The environment was serene, but serenity often hid danger. At the landing pad, a guard clad in layered obsidian armor approached. "Technician Marcus Hale?" the guard asked in a voice like vibrating metal. "That's me," I said, gripping my toolkit. "You will follow. The Queen awaits." No context. No explanation. Just a march through translucent hallways filled with drifting light. We stopped in front of enormous silver doors. The guard tapped her staff against the floor. The doors opened silently. I inhaled sharply. There, sitting on an elevated crystal throne, was Queen Salira. Her appearance was almost mythical, tall, slender, her body shimmering like living starlight. Her eyes glowed with soft violet warmth, and her crown floated above her head like a ring of orbiting gemstones. She looked worried. Not angry. Not regal. Worried. That somehow made it worse. "Human Marcus Hale," she greeted, her voice a soothing chime. "Thank you for arriving with urgency." I bowed awkwardly. "Your Majesty, what seems to be the problem?" She gestured to a small device on a pedestal beside her throne, and my jaw nearly dropped. It was a radio, not a hyperwave transceiver, not a neural-based comm beacon, not quantum-entangled messaging crystals. A radio. Old. Analog. Tinny. "Is that?" I started. "Yes," she said, almost embarrassed. "My radio. It no longer functions." "You summoned me across half the sector to fix a radio?" Her expression tensed. "This is not merely a radio. It is the last working relic of my childhood, a gift from my late mother. It plays melodies from ancient Earth frequencies, ones my ancestors cherished when we first discovered human broadcasts drifting through the void." That shut me up instantly. "Ah, understood." She nodded. "Your species created songs that inspired my people's early explorers. This device connected us long before diplomacy ever did." It was odd, beautiful, and suddenly I understood why she didn't want a standard palace engineer touching it. "May I examine it?" I asked. She hovered closer, far closer than any human queen would, and handed me the device with delicacy. "It suddenly stopped playing yesterday," she said quietly, "and I do not know why." As I opened the casing, soft dust rose into the air. The components were simple, analog circuits, microresistors, even an ancient antenna coil. After a few minutes, I found the culprit, a burned-out frequency crystal. You're lucky, I told her. These crystals are ancient, but I can fabricate a new one with the palace's material synthesizer. Her eyes shimmered with relief. Truly, truly. Then, Marcus Hale, will you please fix it? The queen of an interstellar empire was asking me, with almost childlike sincerity. I nodded. Of course. She smiled, and the entire room brightened as if responding to her mood. Middle signals, secrets, and a queen's request. The royal synthesizer chamber was nothing like the rusty fabrication rooms I used on outer rim stations. It looked like a cathedral made of stardust. As I calibrated the machine, Queen Salira hovered nearby, watching me with quiet curiosity. You seem surprised by my request, she said. Well, yes, I admitted. You could have thousands of engineers working on anything you need. But none are human, she replied. And this relic is bound to your species' history. I paused. Is that truly why I'm here? Because I'm human? Her tone softened.
Partially.
But also, I have heard of you. That stopped me. Heard of me? She flicked her gaze downward. The human engineer who once repaired an entire refugee vessel alone. The technician who rebuilt a collapsed comm array using nothing but scrap wiring and instinct. And the one who saved a stranded Arisian scout patrol with improvised atmospheric stabilizers. My throat tightened. Those weren't exactly heroic deeds. They were survival necessities. But someone had taken notice. The Dominion keeps records, she continued. And I trust your hands. I cleared my throat awkwardly and focused on the synthesizer. As the new crystal began taking shape, she asked, Do you humans always treat sentimental objects with such care? Usually, I said. Especially when they remind us of people we've lost. She nodded slowly. When I was a child, my mother played human broadcasts through this radio every night. She believed that early Earth music represented purity of exploration.
Hope.
She said that the humans who sent those signals into the unknown did so without knowing who would hear them. That's true, I said. Some early signals weren't intentional transmissions. We were just shouting our existence into space without meaning to. And we heard, she said softly. The synthesizer pinged. The crystal was ready. I slid it carefully into the rebuilt seat of the radio, aligned the coil, and sealed the casing.
Try it, I said.
Queen Salira gently touched the dial. Static. More static. Then a faint melody.
Old. Tinny.
Beautiful. A human Earth song from centuries ago. Soft, hopeful, full of yearning. Her eyes widened, brightening with emotion. This was her favorite. I watched her shoulders relax as though a weight had been lifted. The palace's luminous air vibrated faintly with the tune. A simple song bridging an impossible distance between species. Suddenly, a violent crack sounded through the chamber. The floor trembled. The radio's music warped. Salira's expression turned sharp. That was not natural. We ran into the corridor, where alarms were flickering red. An armored guard sprinted toward us. Your Majesty, a surge from the lower reactors. Someone has tampered with the palace power core. My instincts kicked in. Is it sabotage? We suspect so, the guard replied. Salira inhaled deeply. Marcus Hale. Come with me. Me? You repaired my relic, she said. Now help me save my palace. I grabbed my toolkit again. Lead the way. The sabotage and the truth, we descended through crystalline tunnels until the serene surface palace was long behind us. Down here, the air felt heavier, charged with unstable power. The palace power core chamber looked like the inside of a star, glowing conduits, plasma tubes, and immense rings rotating around a radiant central sphere. 3 conduits had been severed. The ground vibrated ominously. If they all collapse, the guard warned, the palace could suffer catastrophic failure. Solyra looked at me. "Can you fix it?" "I can try," I said. As I knelt by the ruptured conduits, I saw scorch marks, but they weren't from overload. They were precision cuts. "This wasn't an accident," I said. "This was intentional." The Queen's face darkened. "A traitor." I rewired the first conduit quickly, but as soon as I began sealing the second, the power core pulsed violently. "Someone is still here," Solyra whispered. A figure stepped from the shadows, an Arisian noble dressed in sapphire robes, a ceremonial blade glowing in his hand. "Solyra," he snarled, "your obsession with humans makes you weak." Her posture straightened, authority radiating from her. "Lord Varix, you disgrace your title. They intrude upon our culture, our destiny. You waste time on their primitive music and their fragile emotions." My eyes widened. This entire act of sabotage because of humans? Varix pointed the glowing blade toward the core. "With this disaster, the council will remove you. A queen who reveres humans is unfit to rule." I whispered urgently, "Your Majesty, I need 2 minutes to seal the last conduit." Solyra stepped in front of me, wings of light unfurling behind her. "Then you shall have 3. She lunged at Varix, their weapons clashing in bursts of radiant sparks. I dove back into the wiring, hands shaking, trying to ignore the sounds of combat echoing behind me. Each splice, each seal, each voltage recalibration. I pushed faster. A shockwave threw me sideways. Solyra and Varix were locked in a deadly struggle, his blade dangerously close to her chest. "Finish your work, Marcus," she cried. I forced myself upright, slammed the last conductive plate into place. The conduit surged with stabilized power. The core's violent pulsing calmed. Varix howled. "No!" Solyra's hand glowed with brilliant energy as she struck him with a point-blank blast. He collapsed, defeated but alive. Guards swarmed in. Solyra turned back to me, breathing hard. "You saved us," she said softly. "You protected me so I could," I answered. Her eyes glowed with something deeper than gratitude. Ending. The Queen's gift and a final question. The crisis was over. Varix was taken away in bindings of crystallized light. The palace returned to its peaceful brilliance. Solyra and I walked slowly back toward the throne room. The radio was still playing its Earth melody, calm, nostalgic, grounding. "You have done more for me than any member of my own court," she said. "You saved my relic and my life." I felt a blush threaten. "Just doing my job." "No," she said gently. "You did far more." She approached the radio, touching its polished surface. "When my mother died, I feared her voice, her warmth, her wisdom would fade. This radio, the songs, it was all I had left. And today, when it broke, I felt that last connection slipping away." I swallowed. "I'm glad I could bring it back." "I am too." She stepped closer. "But there's something more I wish to ask you." Her tone changed, soft but unwavering. "Marcus Hale, will you remain on Ares Prime for a time?" I blinked. "Remain?" "To work on palace systems. To work beside me," she clarified. "Not as a servant, not merely as a technician, but as a trusted companion." My heart thudded. "Why me?" She smiled, warm, hopeful, vulnerable in a way I had never imagined a queen could be. "Because you see value in what others call broken. Because you listen. Because you risked your life to restore something precious to me without hesitation. And because she hesitated. I find your presence comforting in ways my own people cannot provide. I searched her luminous eyes, sincere, radiant, and filled with more emotion than any monarch could safely show. I don't belong here, I whispered instinctively. You belong exactly where you choose to be, she replied. And I would choose for you to stay. The radio's soft melody filled the silence between us. I exhaled slowly. Then yes, I'll stay, for as long as I'm welcome. She smiled, brighter than any star in her empire. Then let this be the beginning of something new. Not just peace between our people, but connection. She extended her hand, delicate yet strong, shimmering with crystalline light. I hesitated only a moment before placing my hand in hers.
Warm. Steady.
Connected. As the ancient earth song drifted through the chamber, the queen and I stood together. Two beings from distant worlds, drawn together by a broken radio, a repaired bond, and the possibility of something far more profound. And in that moment, I realized, sometimes the smallest signal can change the course of an entire destiny.